And welcome back to Big Apple Hockey. I am your host for the night, Mr. John Folkowski. And that is me. Follow me on Twitter at 92in82. If you want to hear see the ravings of a stark raving lunatic, yeah, that's me. I kind of rant about this team a lot. I know that I didn't have one of these for the other game on Friday night. Obviously, New Year's Eve wasn't going to do one of those. I was with family today, so I actually had to go back and watch the first couple of periods of the game because I was not able to watch them live. But so there's a lot of good to go over. There is no bad or no ugly. I know, spoiler alert there, no bad or no ugly. But so let's get into it because you know what time it is. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it's time for the good, the bad, and ugly. Hope you all had a happy and safe New Year. I know that the Rangers have definitely kicked it off right for us. So great first first game, but way to close out the year and then way to open it up. You can't open it up any better than the way that Mika Zibanejad opened it up, because he just opened up the damn door and said, "Daddy's home." Yeah, he did. Hat trick. Amazing game today is right. I see you guys, John, Dylan, Julian, Mike. Thank you all for joining me tonight in this. I know it's a little later than I wanted to do it. I actually wanted to do it earlier, but I was not home to do this earlier. So definitely want to do it now. But yeah, like the caption says, Daddy's home. Mika Zibanejad absolutely asserted himself on both ends of the ice on the Tampa Bay Lightning today. He seems to have that jump that we're used to Mika having these last few years, where he really, asserts himself into the game. The Mika chants, you get Mika chants going. There was another chant that we're going to get into in a little bit too for a certain someone. We will talk about Chris Kreider. Mike, I did see your comment there. That is one of my talking points. So, a lot of good, but obviously this guy is the star of the game today, the first star. He has it for a reason. This is one of those classic Mika Zibanejad games. And this is a statement game, again, for not only for the Rangers, but this was the game for him. And you know what? I actually love this comment, Dylan. This is always the time of year where he comes back and starts to score and find his game. And you know what? You're actually right about this, because the last few years, he has been like this. 2020, he picked it up when he came back from the Bergeron concussion. And when Bergeron tried to do the offensive check and got him in the head, came back from that. And the second half of the year, he was the best player in the NHL. No doubt about it. He was the best player in the NHL second half of 2020. Then 2021 came along, and then we had the 2 months in, the St. Patrick's Day massacre. And what did Mika Zibanejad do? Found his game. And yeah, I mean, you're right, David. He seems to be a slow starter. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Mika Zibanejad is on right now. And yeah, Mika finds that zone, and hopefully he stays in it. We're all hoping the same thing, Lou. So you guys are really nailing it on the head here so far. You're kind of making my job easier over here. I'm supposed to be the one breaking it down, and you guys are just doing it for me. So, I mean, I like it. I love Mika's game even more. I love what he's been doing lately. He is just feeling it right now. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in the second period, he made a move where he basically turned himself and kind of dragged around Braden Point and absolutely walked Braden Point with it. And I couldn't believe he made that move. And I sat back and I thought about it a second later. I was like, when he's on, he does these types of things. And that's, to me, that was one of the biggest signs I think I've seen, because earlier on in the year, he wouldn't even tried that move. He probably would have deferred somewhere. But he's on. He's feeling it. And I just think that if you're going to continue to get games like this, and then the previous game and the game before that, I mean, his last like 3 or 4 games, he's just been incredible. So this is the Mika Zibanejad the Rangers have needed. Yeah, so I really can't say a whole lot more about it. I mean, yeah, he's humming. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate right there, John. Without Brad Zippy had to step up, and he had no one to dish to. We're gonna get into who's dishing in a little bit. So, yeah, but that is pretty right. He stepped up. A lot of guys stepped up today, and there's more on that in a little bit. But speaking of stepping up, I think this quote says it all. Igor Shesterkin, it's showtime. Yeah, Rick, Happy New Year to you. But Igor Shesterkin put on a show. He absolutely put on a show. I will get to this question later on. I am bookmarking this. I do think it's a legitimate question to ask in a sense, but it's also a little in another. So we will talk about that later on when we get into the Q&A section. Don't worry, I have this bookmarked. So yeah, I'm gonna mark it as a favorite actually because I definitely want to go over that. But okay, and you know what? Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with anybody who says that Igor was the first star. I mean, he was phenomenal. That second period, it was him. And David, yeah, we're gonna get into him in a little bit too. But yeah, the Czar was a wall, John. You're right. He was really good. I think this quote just says it all. The save he made on Sergachev was ridiculous. He made several other saves where you were just like, okay, like he's really feeling it, and you just know he's in that zone. Especially after the Ross Colton goal the other night, and then the goal in the Florida game where the Verhaeghe goal, where you were just like, okay, this is not really Igor, but his angles were perfect. He was locked in. Yeah, and you know what? You're right, David. Those 2 games, you could say those were warm-up games. And he was on tonight. He was locked in. Yeah, that glove hand was ridiculous. It really was. I think he was just great. Awesome game from Igor. The Igor chants, you were hearing them, and he deserves it. He was locked. He was really locked in. This is one of the best games I've seen him play, I think, in his entire career. And the Rangers played well. They really did. In the first and the third periods, they were really good. In the first, they were just total domination. The third was a great defensive period. The first half of the second period was really a shaky half for them. And that's where Igor really, really, really stepped up and took over that game. So, yeah, with another good comment here, Mr. Syntastic. So I'm gonna give you that another real good comment. No Patrick Nemeth, great day all around. You see how much better Adam Fox looks without Patrick Nemeth? Oh my God, yeah, 38 save shutout. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, but we're gonna move on to the next one. The power play comes through with 2 goals on its first 2 attempts, and they looked good. Yes, the second goal was a little bit of puck luck, but you know what? They've been clicking, and something went their way in terms of puck luck. Usually they don't get those bounces, and they got the bounce today, rather. So you know what? Good. It's good to see them go, have something go their way like that. And Ryan McDonough pulled a Mark Stahl, which we're all familiar with. I don't even think I have to explain what a Mark Stahl is. You all know what that is from seeing it so many times with him as a Ranger. But you know what? Yes, Mike, thank you. Puck luck happens when you put the puck on the net. You have to put the puck on the net for these things to happen. If you just continue to pass the puck around and try to pass the puck into the net, it's never going to work like that. It just doesn't happen. And they did. And they tried to put the puck on the net. Mika tried to make a pass, actually, I should say. And you know what? It worked. So, but when you put the puck towards the net, things like that happen. So I really liked what I've been seeing from the power plays of late. For them to get 2 goals today, awesome. They've been a top 10 unit, top 6 or 7 unit all year. This is only going to help. They continue to produce, and that's great because you're going to need them to continue to produce. So good on them. But we're going to move on to the next point, and Miller and Trouba decide to step up. And I thought this was one of their best games all season. I thought K'Andre Miller was really good. Yes, we will talk about it. You keep giving us good comments here. We're going to talk about that a little later, actually. So I like this, Mr. Fantastic. Definitely want to see more of you in these chats. Yeah, Ryan McDonough helping his former team. We could say that. And again, yep. We need to see Nemeth on the taxi squad, Mike. You're right. But Miller and Trouba, I thought, had one of their best games as a pairing. I thought they were really good together today. I thought K'Andre Miller, I know he's been much maligned for a lot of the year. A lot of fans have been hard on him. I've been hard on him. But he's played pretty damn good as of late. I'll give him that. Aside from maybe a game or so here and there, he looks more confident, and his decision making just seems a lot more crisp. And it seems like what he's doing with a lot more conviction. Like there's more conviction in the plays that he's been making. Trouba has been physical all year. I really think that ever since he started playing physical, I think maybe sometime in November, that he's just been phenomenal for them since. The offense hasn't always been there, but he's been moving the puck well. Miller, I thought, moved the puck really well. He made a bunch of plays that aren't going to show up on the score sheet. He was caught at center ice, and he got the puck, and he had 2 Tampa Bay players looking like they were closing in on him. Sometime in the middle of the second period. I can't remember exactly when. But he made a hesitation play that reminded me of Adam Fox. And not only that, but he got himself out of the trouble when he was flat-footed and was able to move the puck and get it into the offensive zone, which I was like, that I really haven't seen much from K'Andre Miller this season, Bill. Damn, that was a really good play. I mean, he made other plays where he skated the puck out of trouble, moved the puck into the zone. I really liked K'Andre Miller's game today. And Jacob Trouba, I thought, was really good defensively. He made a couple of good pitches to help keep the puck in here and there. And then he made a big hit. I believe it was in the first period. He stepped up and nailed someone. I can't remember who it was. It was along the near side boards over here. So, yeah, it was in the first period. But, yeah, I just think that pairing just looked really good. I think this was one of their best games. They stepped up big time with Ryan Lindgren out. So, good to see from the two of them. Moving on to our next point, and the kids, aka Jones and Nils, were all right. I thought they were all right today. For a rookie pairing, for Gallant to actually have trust and faith in a rookie pairing against the Stanley Cup champions, that's pretty good because those guys were playing quite a bit together. And I thought Zach Jones played very well. I think that, you know what, yeah, he got walked by Braden Point. Yeah, I get it. But in the second period, he also had Stamkos one-on-one and defended him really well, and Stamkos had to back off him. So, I mean, good for Zach Jones. I thought he played very well. Nils Lundqvist looked pretty good too. Yeah, they had some shaky moments here and there, especially earlier on in the second where I think everybody was playing a little shaky. But overall, I thought their game was all right. I thought they were pretty good. And I can't complain. There's no reason for me for Patrick Nemeth or Libor Hajek to be in over Zach Jones when Ryan Lindgren gets back. It's just not. Those guys just can't hack it. And Libor Hajek wasn't even bad today. He was But you know what? Zach Jones deserves to be up. And you know what? You could say this. Yeah, we were down Panarin, they were down Kucherov, and they won pretty decisively. Steven, you're right about this. You're right. I mean, they and you know what? 14 minutes for the kids is just great. So, yeah, and you're right about this, STIB. The worst case for Zach Jones, he's still better than Patrick Nemeth. So, and again, another good comment from you, Fantastic. Just we have a lot of real good young defensemen. So, yeah, the first 10 minutes of the second was not great. That was probably the worst part of the game, and Igor really stepped up, like I was saying in the previous point. I am getting a little off track here, so I do want to stick with the kids, but I thought they looked good. I thought Zach Jones' skating, decision making, and passing were all really good. I think if you took Adam Fox's smarts, reduced them by about, like, I would say 40 to 50%, and gave him better skating and shooting qualities, or maybe not 40 to 50%. I would say maybe about 30%. Fine. I think I'm being a little too hard there. But reduce his smarts by about 30% and give him better skating, shooting, and so on, and better, I guess, physical talents, then I think you have Zach Jones. Because Zach Jones, there's a lot of things that he does that remind me of Fox. He can't think the game like Fox can. But yeah. And you know what, Mike? I agree. I would have liked Morgan Barron, but Tim Gettinger didn't really do anything to get noticed, but he didn't do anything to get noticed in a bad way either. So, I mean, he was kind of just there. I'll take it. You can't. Again, this is another really good question. I will address these in Q&A. So, and yeah, Tampa hasn't looked like Tampa, but it's only been 2 games since they lost to the Panthers 9-3. They played both of those games against the Rangers. Just remember that, Rick. Just food for thought, my friend. So, next point, Foxy bounces back after a couple of games where he just, like, you know what? He didn't look himself. And you know what? Adam Fox not being himself doesn't mean bad. It doesn't automatically mean bad. It just means not like elite, borderline generational defenseman Adam Fox, who we know to love. But he looked more like himself today. And he just played great after a couple of games where I thought he was down and out. He was making those plays again where you're just like, shit, it's Adam Fox. What else can he do to drop our jaws to the floor? And he just does something else. I mean, so, and John, thank you very much. And I totally agree with this. Keep them together and let them play. Why, at this point, are we going to bring back guys like Nemeth and Hayek, who really can't handle the pace of the NHL? John is totally right about this. I'm in total agreement. I don't think there's anything else that we can really do to prove that that they should be the third pairing. So, again, great comment, John. Totally agree. Thank you for the donation. We appreciate it. We always do. You're always very generous to us. So I can't thank you enough, my friend. They're really cramming me. Yeah, we got to do it again tomorrow. You're right, Mike. Yeah, again, to Mike's point, Justin, like that. But yeah, and this is a good point, Stephen. It's, you know what, they are showing you flashes. They are, and they will break through eventually. We got to be patient. Just be patient, boys and girls. So, but I will move on to my next comment, or my next point. And that's the Barclay Goodrow Revenge Tour Part 2. I guess he got a firelit under him, and Gallant must have pushed the right button and said, "Don't you want to show up your old team?" Maybe Gallant didn't even need to say that, and Goodrow just wanted to do so. But Barclay Goodrow played really good hockey these last 2 games. Probably his best 2 games as a Ranger. So, but yeah, I hope Igor plays tomorrow too. I really do, but I don't think he will. I think you got to get Georgiev a start in there, and they're probably going to go with it. I think this is a good time to play Georgiev against Edmonton because Edmonton ain't looking good right now. So if you can beat them, you can beat them now. But Goodrow made the defensive play and then the pass to set up the Strome goal. He made several other real good defensive plays throughout the game. He just looked like he had more of a jump to him. And yeah, you're right about this, Mike. I totally agree. That first period was just total dominance. And that was supposed to be one of my points, but I don't think I put it in there. So we'll talk about that. And I'll use this. In a back-to-back game, they come out with total dominance. So I totally agree. That first period was probably the best first period, or not even first period, best period I've seen all year from the Rangers. They were great. They were buzzing. They were all over Tampa. Both these teams, obviously, playing each other Friday. There's no difference in time or rest. I mean, yeah, they were without Kucherov. They got Cirelli back and Vasilevsky back today. And the Rangers were without Panarin, and they won. You come out like that in the first, you're going to win a lot of games. But you know what? They played a good 50 minutes of hockey. If you can play good 50 minutes, you're going to win a lot more games. So, to go back to Goodrow a little bit, I don't know if I necessarily think of Tikkanen. Yeah, I can see why you would say it. There are some elements. Tikkanen was a faster player. Definitely more of a top-notch level shutdown guy, if you ask me. He iced Bure in Game 7, so of the Stanley Cup Finals. But yeah, and Tomas, this is actually a good point. Kakko was involved in all three of the Zibanejad goals. He didn't get points, but he made some good plays helping to lead to them. So, yeah, I'll give them that. So, but, yeah, Goodrow looks really good right now. If he can continue this type of play, he's going to be a real big asset for them going forward. So, and then my next point, I think you might like the headline on this. Now, that's what I call defense, volume number 13. Yeah. Because Alexis Lafreniere was probably the best defensive game I've seen from him his entire career. He was great defensively. He made a lot of good plays away from the puck. He made a couple of good ones with it. I would like to see a little more from him offensively, but if you're going to continue to get this great defense from him, that's a good sign. A sign that, you know what, Gallant's getting through to him in some sort of way and that he's answering the call, which, like I said the other day, I was not happy with him not answering the challenges as of late. But you know what? I will take this. I would like to see more of the goals. I know he got a gimme on Friday night, but I didn't think his game was really all that good outside of that Friday night. So it's really funny. It's like night and day from Friday to today with Lafreniere. It's funny because the offense was there because he got the goal, but the rest of his game really lacked. And then he didn't get the goal today or a point, but the other parts of his game were really good today. You just got to find that happy medium, and I think he's just going to take off from there. Just find the happy medium, improve his strength and his skating and his conditioning. And I really think this kid's going to take off, and he's just going to explode. There's too much skill for him not to. So, but yeah, you know what? I agree with this to a point. They're turning into well-rounded players. The points will come in the offensive talent. You're totally right about this, Fantastic. But I will tell you right now, Lafreniere has not been good enough at a lot of different times. And I am a huge Lafreniere fan. He's literally the background on my phone. I have a Rimouski Oceanic t-shirt with his name and number on the back. I'm a huge Alexis Lafreniere fan. I've watched every shift of his career so far. I can tell you right now, he needs to be better overall. And yeah, and this is really it for me. He needs a better first two steps. Like when he gets to top speed, his speed isn't terrible. It's not great, and it's never going to be great. But he needs better burst. He needs better acceleration, better takeoff, and I need consistency from him. But today was a good step in the right direction. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's what I said. He's got to improve his skating and his strength and his conditioning. The three things that really need to be improved because his shot and his playmaking are really good. And he thinks the game well. It's just sometimes the effort and the consistency just aren't there from him. He has to learn how to be a pro, as the cliche goes. And yes, I've said this before. I know everybody hates hearing that, but it's true. It's true. He needs to be better. So I'm going to move on from left, though. Chris Gretzky Kreider. Yeah, the Dishmaster had 3 assists today. And now he's jeopardizing his Cy Young stat line. It's funny because I thought that, maybe he'd have one of those crazy Cy Young stat lines where he scores 30 goals and has maybe 10 assists. But no, he has a bunch of assists now. You know what? With Mika scoring, Chris Kreider is stepping up in the assist department, and he made some really good plays. There was a comment somebody made before. I'm trying to find it because, yes, it was Joe. Kreider made some really good plays leading to his assists. Yes, you're right about that. Totally right, Joe. He made some good plays away from the puck. And David, you're right. I will gladly take Chris Kreider being a 40-40 guy. So Slava, welcome to the channel, by the way. I don't think I've seen you here before, but how many goals do I think Kreider will get this season? I think he's probably going to end somewhere between 30 and 35. So 30 to 35 for me. I would love to see 40, but I don't think 40 is going to happen. I think he's a little too inconsistent for that. So, but I'll gladly take 30 to 35. So, yeah, and I'm going to, I mean, Joe's comment was really kind of spot on with this because he looked really good. Hey, Brody. He might be on pace for 47 goals, but I doubt he gets there. I doubt he hits 40. I'll gladly eat crow, though, if I'm wrong. So, yeah, I actually saw this. It was Gretzky, Brock Lesnar, and Gretzky, Brock Lesnar, Bissonnette, and I think Tocchet, I think it was. It was a couple of the TNT guys. I thought that was pretty cool. But Chris Kreider, has been he's really been playing well lately off of the puck. I mean, the play that he makes is Zibanejad for Zibanejad's for the hat trick goal, where he basically spins around, basically gets McDonough to go away from. Watch a little play, the pivot there at the hash marks. It's on the TV right now. But what's going on, Brody? It's plays like that where you're just like, wait, Chris Kreider can do this kind of stuff? You know what? He makes good plays every now and then where you're just like, wow, So, but Gretzky's making a comeback and Lesnar's going to be his new Marty McSorley. Yeah, he's even blocked some shots too lately, Stib. You're right. So, total face-off dominance, and we won the ones we had to. Mike, you're right. That should have been one of my points. Mika is hot. Going to steal a lot of the goals that Kreider would have gotten. Ooh, that's an interesting comment, Joe. Interesting comment. So, how could a 20-year-old like Laffy be completely winded after 45 seconds? He has to build up a stamina. Yes, Rick, they're going to work on all that this offseason. I hope next year he comes back with an even better season. So, but Kreider playing really good off the puck. We're going to move on from him. Second line thrives without Panarin. And yes, I said the word thrive because they looked really, really good today. Even away from the puck. Ryan Strome, that goal came from Barclay Goodrow making plays. And look, and Ryan Strome and Alexis Lafreniere were both there to help make that play to get that Ryan Strome goal. Lafreniere made a bunch of great defensive plays, as did Goodrow. Strome played well defensively. I thought they were all over the place. I thought they were a thorn in Tampa's side. They were arguably the best line on the ice, if not for Mika just absolutely going beast mode. So, yes, Laffy will be probably working with Dean Prentice. in the offseason. So is it time to put Hunt down? I would keep him in the bottom 6 at the very least. I thought he played well today. I didn't think he played great, but good. But definitely not the way that he played in November. So I will say that. So yeah, the second line looked really good. Generated a bunch of chances, made a bunch of takeaways. They were hard on the puck in the offensive zone and in the defensive zone. I think they played a really good game. Really, if it wasn't for Mika's dominance, I really think that he would. I think this line was arguably the best line on the ice. They just shift after shift, they were making things happen. So, moving on to my last point, I should say, and then we'll do Q&A. Is a great defensive third period from the team. I really, really liked what I saw from them in the third. But yeah, they really locked it down. I know they didn't generate many shots in the third. That really wasn't their go-to. They really weren't trying to. They were just locking it down and making sure that Igor got the shutout, which he did, boys. Yeah. Oh, Igor getting that shutout, especially when you have the best goalie in the NHL, who is also a fellow countryman who probably would have been the starter for your country's Olympic team on the other side of you, on the other side of the ice, playing in net. Feels real good to get that shutout. And no, David, they didn't. You know, at one point, they were, I think they were like how many minutes into the third, and they only had one shot, but Tampa didn't have any. It's like, what? So, you know what? They really didn't. It just, they wanted to make they wanted to clamp down defensively. And you're right. Again, I love what you're doing here tonight, Fantastic. They did learn something from the Florida loss. So they clamped down in the third. It was halfway, and there were like 3 shots for both teams. I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes into the third period where the Rangers had 0 shots and Tampa only had 1. I think I remember at that point, Joe or Sam made the comment. I can't remember which, but they made the comment. I remember thinking, I was like, wow. I was like, really? That's what the shot count is in this period? And you know what? The period moves so quick. So good for them to really clamp down in the third and kind of just really seal that team, or seal the win away and get the shutout for Igor. Igor deserves it. He's really earlier on in the year he carried the team. Now he didn't have to carry the team except for the first 10 minutes of the second period, I would say, in this game, but he still made phenomenal saves all throughout. So great to see Igor get that shutout. It really was. But we'll do Q&A now. I'm going to go back through some of these and pick out some ones. I know, Fantastic, you made that one really early on that I really want to address first. So let me find that one, because that one was a great comment. Okay, there it is. So as much as you love Panarin, do I think he's stifling the development? No, I don't. I think development is not linear. I've said that many times. I think that you need to be careful in expecting anything from development in development. I know I have expectations as well of these kids. I want to see consistency, but development is not linear. It's really not. Nathan MacKinnon's career is something you can look at. 60 points in his first year. Then in 2015, 16, and 17, he really wasn't that good. And then 2018, he totally broke out. So it's not linear at all. And expecting something sometimes is just going to get you disappointed. So yeah, I get why you would think that Panarin, even if you're going to ask this question, I would ask Panarin and Kreider, because Lafreniere would probably be in the top 6 if they didn't have Kreider. To a point, you might be right about this, but at the same time, you still can't just throw them in there without having them earn it. And Lafreniere just hasn't earned it at times this season. I really want more from Lafreniere. So Going down through all these other comments as well. You brought up another one, maybe the Patrick Nemeth experiment. Yeah, I would, again, like I said before, I think Zach Jones has to play regardless of Patrick Nemeth or Libor Hayek once Ryan Lindgren gets back. Dylan, you're right about this. They didn't force passes. They won most of the face-offs, and they got the puck to the net, and that's a big part of the reason why we won. Going down through the Hayek hate is because of the fact that he's really not good. He's just not. He's serviceable as a seventh defenseman, sure, but you don't want him playing NHL minutes. That's the point. The fact that he was playing and then Lindgren got COVID and then he decided to play. But the problem is you need the guy to be serviceable, and I don't think he's really, aside from today, I don't think he's been serviceable since his call up. He's been very, very shaky. He's just not an NHL level defenseman. I'm sorry, he's just not. So Rick, yeah, one of the best games of the season so far. Definitely right about that. Going down. Yeah, and this is another good comment from you, Syntastic. We have so many good young defensemen. This is another one that I wanted to get. Do I think we trade some of these young defensemen for a reinforcement and playoff run this year? I don't think they're trading Jones or Schneider. I think if they were off limits for Jack Eichel, I don't think they're going anywhere. And that would have been the play. It would have been Jack Eichel. So, and they did not trade them for Jack Eichel. So I really don't see them trading big assets. Could maybe somebody like Lori Piney maybe traded for like a rental, maybe. I don't even know if they'll do that. I think they'll try to just get Riley Smith at a bargain basement discount because they're going to know that Vegas is up against a wall. But there might be a bidding war for him, and Vegas might try to move salary cap elsewhere. So I don't know if that's really I don't know if it's going to be possible, but anything could happen. Maybe they like Joe Pavelski, and maybe they pay up for Pavelski. Who knows? I don't know if they will or not, but I just don't see them getting somebody with term because of the fact that they have a lot of cap they're going to have to maneuver around next year. There's a big cap increase, obviously, with Fox's contract. There's just a lot that they're going to have to work with. So, but yeah, I would prefer Hunt as a 13th forward. I would like to see Morgan Barron, but it seems like they want to keep him in Hartford. So, yeah, I love that too, Brody. I love how fired up Turk was. You know what? He just, I would, yeah, definitely. I love that. He was not happy with not being able to ice his players there that he wanted. And I loved seeing that fire and emotion. The fact that he went to go snatch the thing from the referee was just great. He kind of knocked Reeves in the face in the process. Thank God those two have a great relationship. As far as I know, I should say. But yeah, good to see from them. It's another good comment from you. There were 2 losses this year in which they felt like they got more out of the losses than the win. The loss to Toronto, yeah. I thought the loss against Toronto was great. I thought they played great in that. I didn't like the fact, obviously, they didn't get the 2 points, but that was one of the best losses I've seen from the Rangers in quite some time. They played really well, and if they would have had about 5 to 10 more minutes, I think they would have won that game. They absolutely would have won that game. And yeah, Florida, they played well, but that third period was just ugly. So, Kakko plays the opposite side, though I think Strome on power play 1 is hurting Kakko. David, you might be right about this, but how do you change something up like that with that being a top unit? They're just, yeah. So, I don't know how you fix something that's not just not broken, but it's firing on all cylinders right now. So how do we fix that? I just don't know if you can, Kakko and Lafreniere have never played a full season. They were both. This is actually a good point. It's actually a really good point, Mike, because Kakko didn't play a full season in 2020. He came back looking better after the pause in the bubble. He was their best player against Carolina in that series. And then last year, he came back looking good as well, just didn't get the points. And he looked even better this year and started getting some points. So, yeah. Who's going to stay glued to McDammit? I like McDammit because that's basically what they make you say when they start scoring on you. Turk for Jack Adams. John, I'm with you there. I'm totally with you there. I'd be shocked if he didn't win it if the Rangers make the playoffs. At this point, ignoring draft placement, Nils or Laffy. Joe, in what context? Yeah, Brody's right about this. Nemeth needs a one-way ticket to the sun. I totally agree with that, Brody. I'm not saying we should go out of our way to keep him around. He's a replaceable player, but I don't think Hayek has been that bad this year. I don't think he's been good either. I think the bad has outweighed the good. Has he been atrocious? At times, yeah. I would say he has been atrocious at times. I mean, if you're talking about not having the puck go in the back of the net, okay, then maybe he hasn't been as bad as some, including myself, think. But if you're actually watching every facet of the game and watching everything he does under a microscope, he hasn't been good. And he hasn't been anywhere close to good. So let's be careful with that, I would say. Robertson is expendable. Yeah, definitely. I don't see Jones being moved. If Doc or Turcotte was coming back in return, okay, yeah, I could see that, but I don't see Doc or Turcotte being moved. That's the thing. Why? LA is not going to move Doc or LA is not going to move Turcotte. Chicago's not going to move Doc. Not happening. So, how about Giordano? I would like Giordano, depending on the cost. I think he would be a real good left side upgrade. I just think that there's going to be a bidding war for him, and teams love playoff experienced defensemen like him. So, Coyote, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a bit. Gallant is awesome. Yes, he is. He's done a great job with this team. So, man, what's going on? A lot of giveaways exiting our own zone today. Yes, there were. Most of them that I remember in the second period. First half of the second period was bad. So, Oilers oiling again. McJesus is ours. I would love to get McJesus. Kupari or Turcotte? Kupari, I could see being moved. Kupari for Robertson is actually something that Sapboy Steven has said. So, if I doubt Steven's in here right now, it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning where he is. So, the game's not on, so he's probably not going to be up. This seems like a Kessel or Buzz type season skill player with no term. Yeah, Mike, I agree with this. I've mentioned Kessel many times. I think Kessel is probably going to be a top target for them. He's got to be one of the top 3 targets, I'd say, because he's going to come cheap. His salary comes off the books. Arizona could even retain on his salary to make the cap work for this season. I don't think it's going to be needed, but you could retain on him. And not only that, but it's not going to cost a ton to get him. It's second rounder and a prospect maybe, and that could get you Phil Kessel. That he could really help the Rangers. I really do. Hey, what's going on, Davey? But I definitely think that Kessel is probably one of their most realistic targets. Unrealistically, I know Arthur Staple mentioned in his article in The Athletic the other day, he mentioned Tomas Hertl. I think Tomas Hertl is going to create a bidding war. San Jose is going to get a lot for him. So I don't think the Rangers are going to make that type of move because I don't think they want to give up a ton for a guy that they know is going to hit free agency, and then he's going to cost a pretty penny on top of that. I think they're going to stay with Ryan Strome, and they're going to try to hope that they can reinforce the bottom 6 in some sort of way. That's just my opinion. It would probably be my plan of action, too, if I were them. I don't think I would go after Hertl unless he says that he wants to come there for about like $6 million. And at that point, maybe he replaces Strome, or maybe you try to do something else to move some other sort of salary to fit something else in. So, David, do teams start selling teams wait till the deadline to hope to get more? It's a good question. I don't think you have to worry about them waiting too much. Yeah, they're going to wait to the deadline more than likely, but I think if anything, you're looking at I would say a little closer to maybe we could see a deal by the end of this month or two. Maybe in February. Trying to just look up the date in the NHL Trade Deadline. Let's see what this is. March 21st. So March 21st is the trade deadline, and maybe you could see something. Usually Jim Rutherford, who's now the Vancouver general manager, is good for a real early season deal. Usually makes one like a month or two before the trade deadline. Maybe Vancouver makes one to shake it up and try to get back into the playoff race. Who knows? But I think sellers will probably hold on a little closer to the deadline. It depends on how the phones are going. You know, it's all it takes is a conversation. That's what I always say about these trades. All it takes is a conversation, and that's for it to work both ways. Wayne Gretzky was almost dealt to the Vancouver Canucks. Wayne Gretzky was almost dealt to the Winnipeg Jets. You know, like Patrick Elias was almost a New York Ranger. You know, I just think these things happen. So, and then, you know, like the Marty San Luis one, you know, and then the Ryan McDonough trade ended up happening. You know, like these monies, these deals happen out of nowhere sometimes. So all it takes is one conversation. John, yeah, I know we've both talked about Jared McCann. I know you've mentioned Andrew Kopp too. I don't think Andrew Kopp's going anywhere. I think Winnipeg would be crazy not to keep him. Jared McCann, I could definitely see being moved. And I think there's going to be more of a market for Jared McCann now that Brandon Tanev is out with a torn ACL. I know that Seattle probably would have liked to have dealt them both, but now they have a reason to hold on to Brandon Tanev. But Jared McCann's going to fetch a pretty penny at the deadline. That's the one thing I'm concerned about if I'm the Rangers. So, yeah, Sunday afternoon game. Arman, you're right about this. There was definitely an energy in the crowd. And then Mika Zibanejad. And that first period definitely woke the crowd up. They were in it from there. And then Igor making the saves that he did in the second, it was just like, okay, everybody was feeling it. So, I know a couple of people that were at this game, so I definitely love the fact that the crowd was as buzzing as they were for a Sunday afternoon game against the defending champs, and it was a good game to be at. So whoever got to go to that one, lucky you, because you picked a real good one. So, but yeah, I would love to see better, more consistent crowds at MSG. It's always good when the crowds are hot there. You know, it's a good game to go to. My cousin and his boyfriend went. So it was their first game, or it was my cousin's boyfriend's first game. So he got to see an awesome, awesome game. So I'm so happy for them. I was getting videos while I was at brunch. And yeah, and Mike, thank you very much. Friendly reminder, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps grow and give us more content here. Definitely see some new faces. Hopefully the new faces subscribed. We'd love to have you in the chats more. Definitely some good discussion and discourse here with everybody. So, and this, yeah, you know what? Like I said before, this game was definitely a statement win. Say whatever you want about Nikita Kucherov being out, and then say whatever about Friday's game. But they got Vasilevsky back. They got Cirelli back. And the Rangers were without Panarin. So I'm definitely more of a I'm definitely a fan of that, and it's a statement win. It's a big win for them, and they got 2 wins against the defending champs, who were one of the top teams in the NHL, which was a bugaboo all season for this team. They couldn't get wins against better teams, and they got wins, got 2 consecutive wins against one of the best teams in the NHL. So, and yeah, Trouba did. He that was what I said before. I don't know if you saw or if you were in here, but I made a comment, or one of my talking points was about Trouba and Miller stepping up, and Trouba stepped up and nailed someone early along the near side boards in the first period, and that hit definitely got the crowd into it too. So that was a good hit, and that was a good way to energize the crowd. Davey, does I'm guessing you're asking me if Lindgren and Fox reminds me of Patrick and Leach. Patrick and Leach, I don't remember them really being a pairing. Maybe before Bukaboom got there, Leach played with Patrick a little bit, but they were both puck movers, Leach and Patrick. Patrick was a former 70-point guy in 92. So, yeah, I like Lindgren as more of a James Patrick type than a Jeff Bukaboom. I mean, he skates well and he's very physical. So, yeah, I really do. I do like that pairing, Lindgren and Fox. I can't wait for Lindgren to get back out of COVID protocol. Trouba's been doing his own impersonation. Yeah, that's why I was just saying before. Yeah, it reminds me a little more of Bukaboom and Leach than Patrick and Leach. So I definitely agree with that, Mike. Miller was really good in the first. Yeah, you know what? I thought he was good in the first Tampa game too. I really did. So I'm happy that he was good in this game. I liked it. He needs to continue to keep that up. He needs to keep playing like this. We saw him really improve his game in November, and I like the way that he carried it into December, and then in the middle of December he started having some so-so games, but these last 2 games were really good from him. Yeah, it's a big statement win. Taking 4 out of 4 from Tampa is big, Dave. Big. So Igor is back. Big game for Igor. And then Jones and Nils, I thought they were good together. They had some moments where they were shaky, but they were good overall. And I'll give them that. They're going to continue to get better, the both of them. I just don't think you should send down Zach Jones. I think Patrick Nemeth and Libor Hayek should sit or be sent down. So, MJ, welcome to the channel. I don't recall seeing you previously, but you picked a good channel to come to talk hockey. So, any comments? Feel free to get into the comment section. And I saw that you did, but I will get to that in a little bit. So I'm still catching up with comments. Yes, keep Nemeth away, Dave. You're right. Mike Miller's game has been much improved. Yeah, you know what? I do. Yeah, I do agree that he needs to take the body. You know what? Sometimes these guys are not that. Tom Poti was big, but was not physical. Willie Huber, Jay Bouwmeester. Some of these guys are just big and they're just not as physical. But you know what? If Miller can just not get walked defensively and not let players get behind him, he's going to be a pretty good defenseman. Yeah, Miller needs to be consistent. Skated great today. Yep, totally agree. Lou, totally agree. Do I think Shesterkin will hit 40 wins? It's possible. I don't know if he will, but you're right about the Vezina part. He's got to be a front runner for it, if not Markstrom. Him and Markstrom have got to be right there. Jack Campbell's still got to be up there. So, drop Nemeth off in Sweden and hope he doesn't want to come back. Yeah, I would gladly take that. Hey, Ryan, what's up? I don't think they should claim James Neal. I believe his cap hit is pretty high too. Or did he actually know what? No, he might have a smaller contract now. Hold on, let me see what his deal is. Oh no, he's $750K. You know what? I don't know how much he has to give, really. I really don't know what he has left anymore. I know he got bought out. I mean, he's only got 4 points in 17 games for St. Louis. And that was after 10 and only 29 games last year for Edmonton. And then 31 the year before that. He's not a great skater. I just don't know if he's got a whole lot left. So maybe he could be good forward depth. I don't know. McDonough did get pushed around a little bit. You know what? Good on the Rangers for pushing him around. Jones didn't have to have a big game on a score sheet to be a net positive. And yeah, you're absolutely right about all that, Dave. You're right. Yeah, we picked up Nemeth because he's Swedish to help out Lundqvist, but it's Lundqvist helping him. Yeah, you're right about that, Brody. Lundqvist has carried him. Oh, I was up there here for like 3. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Then I apologize. I do apologize. But yeah, I hadn't seen you in the comments section. I don't think so. Yeah, but definitely love having more new faces in the comments section in the chats. So definitely continue to join us. We do Wednesday shows. So yeah. But hold on. Going through these. Sorry, catching up. Can't always skate your best, but you can close gaps on opposing players and limit chances. Yes, that's what we want from Keandre. That's all we want. Just limit the chances, play well defensively. The offense will come here and there. Eventually will. So, Brody, just get a defenseman with... I like that comment from David there. That's funny. Rick, yes, Vasilevsky looked a little shaky, sure, but you got to take advantage of it. And they did. Yeah, but you know what, though? Just because he's a shooter doesn't mean he's a net positive. I don't know if he's a net positive anymore, Rye. I really don't. Yeah, we'll have to trick management that Jones is really Swedish, too. I like that. Picks for a future Hall of Famer. I mean, obviously, Crosby and Ovechkin. I think if getting Malkin is definitely a Hall of Famer, if you ask me. I think how he wasn't on that list of the NHL 100 or whatever it was, like 4 or 5 years back. He should definitely be on that list. Better than Nemeth and Hyatt combined. Yeah. Jones is definitely better than them. Yeah. OJ. MJ. OV is definitely better shoo-in for the HOF for a few years from now. Zach Jones-isk. Zach Jonstrom. Jonstrom, I think, could work, right? Trouba and Donna Wiggins speak with a Swedish accent. Yeah. I was hoping we'd get that 4th goal in the first period and get Yank Vasilevsky. Yeah, that'd be nice. Breadman could make the HOF if he continues to play like this for another, I would say, 5-6 years. If he continues to play at a point per game pace for another 5-6 years, he probably could make the HOF. So, but when Trouba speaks, he is hard not to love. I mean, yeah. Buy the Swedish fish and the sausage to make it official. Sure, yeah. Let's turn Trouba Swedish. Why not? Why not? We can have fun with this. But yeah, I liked what I've seen from Trouba. I thought that pairing played better. Trouba has to be the stabilizing force of that pair, and I think he has. So, Igor possibly a Hall of Famer one day, maybe. I mean, it's very early, so I would slow down the talk about that because it's way too early. But definitely one day, you never know. You're right. You never know about that. I mean, if he continues at this pace, he'll be up there. Anthony's Mohawk. Yeah, I think you guys probably scared him into hiding it under the hat. So, I told him that became the running joke of the chat. So he wore a hat last time. I wear a lot of hats to begin with. You can ask my right nut. He'll tell you I wear hats a lot. And as I've shown you guys, I don't have the best head of hair. So happens when you get older. But no, and I don't have great genetics. You know what? You know what, Dave? I'm not sure about that because that's going to be late. I don't know how many I don't know how many would come on, and that's going to be really, really late. So, yeah, Anthony knows it. He knows you guys are just messing with him. If my bold brother would actually be Derek Stepan, probably not Ryan Lindgren. So, or Ryan Getzlaf. Now Ryan Getzlaf's had me for a long time, but I didn't start really losing mine until I was probably in my late 20s. Ryan Getzlaf and Derek Stepan were losing for a while. So yeah. Who's my favorite Ranger? I'd probably say Artemi Panarin or Adam Fox right now. Igor is right behind. So yeah, I wish I had Ryan Getzlaf money. Who doesn't wish that they had Ryan Getzlaf money? Do you know how much money Ryan Getzlaf made on his previous contract? Yeah, let's look this up and have some fun with this. I will give you the numbers on his previous contract because right now he's only making $3 million for this year. But his previous contract that he signed on March 8th of 2013, as per Cap Geek, he made a total of $66 million, $8.25 million against the cap per year. That's pretty damn good money. I wish I had $66 million to my name. Who doesn't? Messier was a ball cube. I guess you're meant to say cue ball there. Yeah, and everybody did love him. You're right. Chytil still not putting up great numbers. I don't know if I'm really a buyer on him. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to. I need more from Chytil. I need more. Yeah, Zegras. Trevor Zegras is just great. Gerald, Happy New Year. Yeah, only 3 million, Dave. Only 3 million. So, only, quote unquote, only. Yeah, I know. I'd kill to have 3 million in my name right now. Oh, life. Oh, I don't need to ask Vancouver about Messier. I know everything that happened there. That was not good. He did not fit in with that locker room. Ownership was not a fan of him. He was not well liked in Vancouver. Yeah, the bald goat in hockey is Messier. So he'll give him some time. He's had a lot of time. I mean, he's still young, but he's had a lot of time. I just wonder if he has the ability to make it take it to that next level, and I wonder if he stays at center. So, yeah, mess definitely. You found 3 million in the couch. That's awesome. Messier and Linden did not mesh. Linden ended up getting dealt. Yeah, he was a great player, but I've heard some things. I don't know how true they all are, but yeah, he has his detectors or detractors or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, detractors. Messier. So, and Keenan, yeah, in Vancouver, yeah. So, Messier he was very opinionated and he had a lot of say with moves, especially with the Rangers. He was a big reason why Zubov and Nedved got moved after they lost to the Flyers in '95. They got bullied around with the Flyers, lost to them in that series, and they moved Zubov and Nedved. And a big part of it was Messier, his words to Neil Smith. And then 15 years later, they got bullied around by the Flyers in the last 2 games of the season. And they went and drafted Dylan McIlrath as a panic reaction pick. Great job, Rangers. Great job. Rangers going to Ranger, apparently. So, I mean, it's debatable as what's worse. Drafting a goon defenseman that couldn't even stay in the NHL as a panic reaction pick to losing 2 games at the end of the season to the Flyers, or the Hugh Jessman draft pick. So Yeah, Keenan almost cost them the cup. Passed on Fowler in that draft, passed on Tarasenko, passed on Kuznetsov, passed on Jaden Schwartz. Yeah. Yep. Bad. And yeah, Ryan Messier was being a GM before, being GM LeBron before it was cool. Yeah. Yeah. Fox another Norris. Yep. Yep. I would be so on board with this, and I think he does deserve it. So, Gerald, benching guys on the team, gave up on the team in the Eastern Conference Finals against Devils. You're right; they lost a game. I believe it was Game 5. They lost that game because Keenan decided to bench Leach. So, yeah, Jessamine and McElrath was because say they were stuck in the 70s. Yeah, they passed on Drew and they drafted Bobby Sanguinetti at 21 in 2006. Drew went in 22. Trading Gartner and Amonte was awful. I hated that. I hated it. I was a huge fan of both Gartner and Amonte. And the Anderson trade was awful because Anderson did shit for the Rangers in that run. No. I love Charlie McAvoy. He's a Long Island kid. I have family that actually knows his family. But Adam Fox or Norris. Yeah, but we won a cup. Yeah, but you know what? It also mortgaged the future, and it helped propel them into the dark ages of '98 to 04. So Gartner wasn't a good playoff guy, but a great scorer. Joe, you're right about this in a sense, but there is a myth about Mike Gartner, and it was the myth that he didn't score in the playoffs, which is kind of false. If you look at his playoff career, okay, so in the NHL in his career in the playoffs, he had 43 goals and 93 points in 122 games. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 postseasons in which he had scored double digits in points. And you know what? Okay, so in his age 24 postseason in Washington with 84, he had 3 goals, 10 points in 8 games. The next year in 85, 4 goals, 7 points in 5 games. The next year, he only had 2 goals in 86, but he had 12 points in 9 games. Then followed by 4 goals, 7 points in 7 games in 87, 3 goals, 7 points in 14 games in 88. That was not a great postseason. In 89, Minnesota, he had no points in 5 games. His first postseason with the Rangers in 90, he had 5 goals and 8 points in 10 games. That's pretty good. Followed by 1 goal and one assist for 2 points in 6 games in 91. Then in 92, he had 8 goals and 16 points in 13 games. And then in 94, because they didn't make the playoffs in 93, with Toronto, he had 5 goals and 11 points in 18 games. So, I mean, he could score in the playoffs. This myth that he didn't score in the playoffs is just totally off base. He just wasn't a goal per game and a point per game in the playoffs. So, yeah, crazy time in the 90s is right. And Mess and Keenan brought us a cup, but probably cost them a dynasty. Yeah, this is accurate, Mike. This is accurate. Brett Hull was never available for that DP. They were never going to give Brett Hull the compensation for Keenan. So, but I would have loved that. Brett Hull was almost a Ranger in the summer of 2001, though. Keenan wasn't a fan of Gartner at all. Yeah, that was really the thing, Joe. Keenan wasn't a fan of anyone, as David said. So, yep, that's Sam's big call, MJ. Michael, yeah, should the last 2 cups be followed with an asterisk? No. Everybody played by the same rules. So everybody played by the same rules. Rob, what's going on? Gartner was a devil killer. Yeah, I've always said this. Okay, so in the 4 games that they played against the Devils, hold on. Let's go to this. 94. All right, I'll give you the stats right now. Actually, hold on. trying to just look it up. This computer decides to not load. I love when that happens. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so we'll do some games. I'm trying to find the okay, so here this schedule and results. All right, so the New Jersey Devils. And I'm giving you the stats for these games pre-trade deadline. So these are the 5 games that they played against the Devils before the trade deadline. Okay. All right. So the total for the 5 games between the Rangers and the Devils. So October 31st, Halloween 1993, November 30th, my birthday, 1993, December 5th, 1993, December 26th, 1993, and February 24th, 1994. So the Rangers scored a total of 20 goals, and the Devils had a total of 7. So they outscored the Devils by 20-7 before in those 5 games before the trade deadline. No, Gartner was not traded from New York to Chicago. He was traded from New York to Toronto. So Gartner never had a center like Yari Curry had. Yeah, Gartner never really got to play with elite centers. You're right about that. Yeah, almost killed Janet Gretzky when the glass broke on her. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's why they traded Amonte for Noonan and Matto, Mike. So they went 6-0 against them, Lou. Yeah, but the 20-7 is really what I was looking at. So Joe, yeah, I'm with you here. Igor is going to get Vezina. And welcome to the channel, by the way. I don't think I've seen you before this. If I have, I'm sorry. But yeah, trading Savard was another Sather special. Yeah, that was a dumb trade. Yeah, we went 5-0 against them before the deadline, but it was really the score that I was looking at to really prove the point. So with Amonte and Gartner, they went 5-0 against the Devils, outscoring the Devils 20-7 in 5 games. 20-7. And even if you want to say that, they win that 8-3 game against them because they won one of their games 8-3. The game on December 26th of 93, they won 8-3. So let's just say they win that game, I don't know, 5-3. You take away 3 goals. That's still 17-7. You're outscoring them by 10 goals. Even if it's 4-3, that's still a 9-goal difference. So why would you downgrade yourself? They killed the depth that they had. Listen, I get wanting Noonan, and Noonan was really good for them in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Noonan was one of their top, I would say, 5 best players against the Islanders and the Capitals. And he was really good against the Islanders. He absolutely was a thorn in their side. So, but they were just, Noonan just disappeared after the second round, after the Capitals. So, I don't know. I didn't like those trades. Looking back in hindsight, I think they cost them, but again, got them a cup. So, but I don't think you have to go to double overtime in 2 different games with Stefan Matto to, if you have a Monty and Gartner. I think you outscore the Devils by quite a bit because the Devils couldn't handle that speed. I don't think Vancouver could have either. Leach is the greatest Ranger of all time to me. It's Leach. I think Adam Fox could take that. He could absolutely take that, but it's Brian Leach's right now. So, Line, would I trade for him? No, you don't need another winger. Unless Chris Kreider is going the other way, you don't need another winger. So, yeah, they overpaid for Noonan and cost them probably another cup. Yeah, they did. They absolutely overpaid for Noonan, and it definitely cost them because a Monty would have helped. A Monty would have helped them against Pittsburgh in 96, definitely. The Pittsburgh in 96 was a big problem for them because they were a big offensive team and they couldn't handle Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just ran over them and they couldn't match the offense. It's funny because they built up the team to handle Philadelphia, who knocked them out the year before, and then they got knocked out by Pittsburgh, and then they tried to add speed in next year's deadline by adding Russ Courtnall, and then they ended up facing Philadelphia, who bullied them around again. And then what did they do after they got bullied by Philadelphia? They went and they added Brian Scribbland and Mike Keane, and that did not work out for them. Hey, Spirited, welcome back. I think I'm probably going to do another about, I would say, 10 minutes of this. We've been going on for about an hour and 15 minutes so far. So I'll probably go to like 11, and then we'll call it a night. But, yeah, Mike Keane, ender of teammates. He ended Pat LaFontaine's career, basically, with that accidental collision. So, yeah, sure, Brodeur was really good, but the problem is that they had as much trouble scoring against the Devils as they did in that playoffs because they didn't have the firepower after getting rid of Amonte and Gardner. That was the thing. They would have outscored the Devils. They would have ran them over. And yeah, the Devils, the only acquisition I think they made was Bernie Nichols at the deadline, which really wasn't even a big addition for them, you know? So let's see here. Because I'm pretty sure Bernie Nichols was he was their big deadline acquisition that year in 94. And he was a good player. He was still good, but he wasn't the same Bernie Nichols he was for years before that. Yeah, no, he was with them prior to the start of the season. He had 19 goals and 46 points in 61 games for them. Oh, they got him last year at the prior deadline. He was almost a point per game for them at the prior deadline. But Nichols always missed time. That was the big thing. Nichols, 92, he had 49 points in 50 games. So, I mean, he was good for points-wise, but he missed time. And then in 93, he only played 69 games that had 60 points, still pretty good. 94, 46 points in only 61 games. And then in 95 with Chicago, and then 95 and 96 with Chicago, he was actually really good. He was over a point per game. He played 107 games that had 111 points with the Blackhawks in 95 and 96. So, I mean, good for him. But yeah, Nichols really wasn't going to put them over the top. And yes, thank you again, Mike. Appreciate this. Remember, everybody like, share, and subscribe if you can, please. Helps grow the channel. Helps us put out more content. Definitely want to grow the channel and start doing more of this. We're looking to cover more across the league. So I do more of these. I try to do these as often as I can. I'm sorry I couldn't do New Year's Eve. Obviously, that was, not a night I could really do them for, but so. All Are Rangers Stanley Cup frontrunners? No. I think they're not there yet. So, and that's another thing. If you want to see, if you want me to do a wrestling channel, I know it keeps getting brought up, but we got to do a little more background on it and stuff, and go over some other things. So, but yeah, I do want to do a wrestling channel. We've got to hammer out more for it. So, drunk hockey analysis would have been funny to watch, though. Yeah, we that happened once with Mark. We're not doing that again. 96, we lost Kovalov, Sundstrom, Flatley, and Berg to injuries. Yeah, Berg was good for us in 96. He was hurt, and then 97, yeah, Keenan Scribbland, yeah, they were not good. So yeah, wrestling channel. We're going to do it. It's going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of when. We're still trying to hammer things out and stuff. So, Mark, and I have really got to get together and start talking about some other things. So that's going to come up during it. But yeah. I think if we win one round, I think that's a huge success, Mike. I don't think you need to win 2 rounds with this team to be considered a huge success. I think 1 round would be good, because I'm not sure if they can win a round depending on who they draw. You know, they might end up getting a wild card spot and end up facing Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and Tampa Bay could house them for all we know. Yeah, that's the problem. WWE is just terrible. It's unwatchable garbage right now. It really is. It's just boring. It's awful material. Yeah. Yeah, they were coming to Newark soon. I don't have tickets. I'm not going to get tickets for that again. But yeah, next time they go to UBS, definitely we're probably all going to go again. So you know what? Tyler Toffoli's name has been brought up for me as a trade deadline acquisition. I don't know how I feel about that. He's just another sniper, and they need a guy who can drive play. Tyler Toffoli's not a play driver. If he comes cheap, I'd be okay with it, but he's got turn. That's the problem, and I don't think they're going to add on a guy with his type of cap hit with term. So I don't see Tyler Toffoli happening unless the cost is so cheap and they find a way to move. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I did a live stream for the NHL draft this past year in 2021. So in July. So I will do a live stream for 2022. That will absolutely happen. So, yes, Ryan brought up James Neal Gerald. I would not. I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would do it. So, yeah, I don't want to do anything with James Neal. Even though the contract's not much, I just don't think he really has anything left to give. I don't see where he helps. He's not a great skater. He doesn't. I don't know if he can give you much anymore. He's got 4 points this year. 4 points. So, New York Rangers DraftKings. That's a good one. I think Brennan Othmann was a pick that really kind of surprised me. I wanted the center, but I think that he could. I think he could be a real good top 6 forward in the NHL. We did a prospect stream that got interrupted so many times because StreamYard kept crashing. Thanks, StreamYard. It crashed several times, and I don't even know if the videos are up because of the fact that it's just they got deleted. So I don't even know if we put up the last video. But yeah, I don't know if I like Othmann a lot. He's really made me eat my words. I wanted Fedor Svechkov because I thought they needed a center, and I wanted Hendricks Lapierre the year before because, again, they needed a center. But Brennan Othman's been nothing but good for them. He should have made the Canada World Junior team, the under 20 team. So, Mike, I'm not sure of what you're talking about with Neal. James Neal's a forward. So, is there a worse contract than Jeff Skinner? No. Nope. That's it. The Olympics, it's NCAA and NHL free agents, basically. So, yeah, Othman should be able to come in when his Kreider's no trade clause ends. Lauri Painiemi is going to be another one that's going to be, I think in the next couple of years, might end up getting some time with the Rangers. The word is that they want Brennan Othman to try to make the team next year because they don't think that he has anything left to prove in the OHL, and he's not going to be old enough to make the AHL. So they're having him come in and work with Dean Prentice and Chris Kreider and them over the summer to work on like skating and conditioning and stuff. So, yeah. So Brennan Othman is, they're very, very high on him. They're not going to move him. Yes, Mike, it is late. And that's why I'm going to wrap this up in about 2 minutes or about a minute. So I'm going to go to 11 o'clock and then wrap it up. So if anyone has some last minute questions, get them in or comments. So, but yeah, Chaz Lucius would have been a good pick, I think, because they needed a center who could score some goals. I do like what he is. He's probably one of the best goal scorers in that draft. So Chaz Lucius would have been a good one. But Svedar Svechkov was the guy that I wanted. And he looked good for Russia. Coyote, have a good one. Good to see you. Happy New Year as well. Arman, you're welcome. Happy New Year to you as well. God, a whole bunch of comments just came in. Okay, sorry. Zach Jones is 21 and looks like he's 15 out there. Not impressed. I don't agree with that at all. Don't agree with that. I think he looked pretty good. If Dolan and Drury don't mess it up, we have a bright future. Yes. So, do agree. And that's really the thing. If the front office doesn't screw it up, yeah. You know what? I don't want to hear it from you. And it wasn't because of Othman himself. It was because I wanted a center. And I still want a center, and they still need a center. So if you want to chastise me for that, like you're doing, Joseph, then go ahead and do so. But I will stick to my guns and say that they needed a center. And they still need a center. So you can chastise me for wanting Hendricks Lapierre over Braden Schneider. Okay, great. But Hendricks Lapierre would fix a lot of problems. And yeah, Mike, I'm with you. Ratu would have been a good second round pick. So, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up now. I love doing these, so please continue to come back for them. I don't think I'm gonna do them on the day of the on the night of the West Coast games because that's going to be really late, and I don't think we're going to get many on for those. So I know the next game is tomorrow against Edmonton. I will be doing tomorrow night after the Ranger game against the Oilers. I will do that. Okay, so the next game is Thursday after tomorrow. Thursday against Vegas. That one I'm probably not going to do. I'll do that Friday. Saturday, Anaheim. That's the 8th. I'll do that Sunday. I'll try to do that Sunday at some point, maybe in the afternoon, evening. Monday against LA. I will probably do that Tuesday afternoon, evening. And then Thursday, the 13th against San Jose, I will probably do that afternoon, evening on Friday. So all the West Coast late night games, I will do them probably the day after. So just be on the lookout for those. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate you joining in on the chats. And, I love doing this, like I said, and you guys all make it fun, and it flies by. An hour and a half doesn't even feel like an hour and a half doing this. So, again, Happy New Year, everybody. Just you for the West Coast games, Joe. Definitely. But always a pleasure having you all in here. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate that. Remember, like, share, and subscribe if you can. Helps grow the channel. The more likes that we get, the better off. It comes up in the algorithms. Yes, my Twitter is right there, actually. Hold on. Right there. Pointing at it right there. 92 in 82. So it's at 92 in 82. I'm on Twitter. Follow me. Mark's Twitter is All Things Ranger. And Anthony's is at A Larocco 0801. Yeah, we're on Facebook too. If you're on the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. Big Apple Hockey on Facebook. I post when I'm going to do these, so I will try to post earlier on and make sure that I will do the posts before and after. So this way, before to let you know that I'm going to do it after the game, or before the game to let you know that I'm going to do it tomorrow as well. So just be on the lookout. I will have them scheduled. I'll try to get them scheduled ahead of time too. So if you turn the notifications on, you'll get notifications when I'm going live and do these. So definitely hop on with us. And like I said, I'll try to keep doing these. So thank you all for coming and enjoying hockey with me. I appreciate it. I know it was a little later than I wanted to, but I was with family today, so had to go watch the game at home because I missed the first two periods most of, and wanted to go and watch everything and give you more of an accurate analysis rather. So thanks for joining. You all have a good night. Happy New Year. And remember, please like, share, and subscribe if you can. And as always, let's go Rangers.